Don't you ever doubt. Don't you ever doubt it. And since you started the recording, I'll repeat that. Freddie is always ready.
That's
Ready, Freddie here. Let's go. So how in the world is everyone? Let's see. Wow, Christian, we got 55 on already. That means that they showing up on, almost on time. And by the way, thank everyone that was on at 8:29 and a half. Remember, you get that $50 certificate. Just make sure I have your address so I can send it to you. That we talked about, because I love rewarding those that are on time. Thank you very much, Deep. Did you get yours last week, Deep? Yeah, you got it. Okay, fantastic. Anyway, guys, well, listen, welcome. Janine, good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, I haven't seen her a couple of weeks. She was COVID, but she beat it. She beat it. It's good to see you. You're looking good. All right, and Angelina putting on her makeup. No, you got to put a little bit more on here.
Better late than never. At least I was on the call.
I love the artistic flair to the thing.
I'll give you guys a minute into my beautiful world.
All right. Anyway, last week we talked about. Let me hit share my screen. Share the screen. Last week, again, this is our midweek mind body makeover. How many of you feel like you could use a little bit of a mind makeover today? Anybody? If you say no, you're such a liar. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. I need a mind makeover every 30 minutes. I'm dealing with a $20 million producer right now that if you would meet her, if you would see her on the street, if you saw her social media, she's, oh my gosh, what a perfect life she has. And we've been now meeting quite a bit, doing some business planning and stuff. And she is very much in tune to a lot of the things that this is all about, the mastermind. And we were just talking the other day. She said, and she's, quite old, a half a century. She said, Fred, please give me some hope. Is there ever a time I'm going to get to this point? I've been studying this stuff for 10 years. Is there ever a time and a point that I won't need a makeover every 30 minutes? I said, no, because that's what makes life beautiful, right? And as I heard a real famous guru saying that, the consistency that once we can realize there's a consistency in life, the starting point and the ending point are connected. It's a straight line. There are no knots in life, only the knots that we created. Because when you have a beginning point and you have an end point, it's a straight line. And that's what we had. There's only two definite things in life, the starting point and the end point. So that line should be as straight as possible, but it's never straight because of our moving toward that end line, right? And being so excited about everything that happens, everything that takes place, everything going on, realizing we're creating it. And if you feel like you're in a knot, guess who tied that knot? You did. If you're in a knot, guess who didn't tie that knot? Someone else. So when you think about the power of that, the starting point and the ending point. So we've been on this topic of circumstances last week, and there's circumstances that all over, right? There's all kinds of circumstances, all of which we are in control of. We are in control of our circumstances. You may say, wait a minute, Fred, that's not true. I just had someone pass away that I love dearly. I wasn't in control of that. There's the starting point and the end point was lined up, but you have control of the way you see it. You have to control what you think about it. You have control whether you're going to celebrate their life or mourn their death. So we control all these circumstances, folks. And when it comes down to this business that we're talking about, that we're in, and I pointed this out last week. This is some of the science that is so wrong. There's so much BS out there, belief systems that are so wrong. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he tears this whole thing apart, that our happiness is not genetics, but all these kind of beliefs are out there. We create our own beliefs moment by moment, right? that if only this happens, I'll be happier. If only this happens, just be happy. And that doesn't work that way. So today we're going to have Christian come in and talk about circumstances in business and how he created a set of circumstances that led to 42 sales in his first year. But circumstances don't matter. Only a state of being matters. Christian state of being, when you see, when he talks about his attitude, you're going to see it in a moment. This is what we cover. I've learned from experience that the greater part of our happiness or misery depends on our dispositions and not on our circumstances. To hell with circumstances. I create opportunities. I breathe that. I meditate on it. I live on it myself. And so do a whole lot of other people that I coach, and that we keep working and moving toward this. Circumstances are the rulers of the weak. If circumstances are ruling you today, you are weak. Circumstances ruled me early this morning when I woke up for about 25 seconds. I was weak at that moment. I said, wait a minute. I took a breath in. I started humming my little mantra, and I started, wait a minute. I know who I am. I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am as God created me, because I didn't want to be weak. I want to be powerful. That's the way we're created. We're created to be powerful. So circumstances are the rulers of the weak. If you let them rule you, if your business is not where you want it to be, if your health is not where you want it to be, if your wealth is not where you want it to be, you've created it all. So recreate the circumstances. A happy person is not a person in certain set of circumstances, but rather a person with a certain set of attitudes. And you're going to hear that this morning from Christian and my buddy, my friend, my mentor, Tony Robbins' mentor. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances. You cannot change the seasons. You cannot change the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. And this guy here, Man's Search for Meaning, Dr. Viktor Frankl, the Jewish doctor in Auschwitz, Nazi camps, everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So Christian, with that kind of, background, and let's talk about your circumstances, what you did, how you changed yourself to do 42 transactions your first year. And so, you came in no experience, correct? You're muted. You're muted.
Yes, Fred, that's quite correct. I just probably need to preface by saying, I will share everything. Although I'm quite certain that there are lots of people that do far better than I. And I would certainly hope so. But what I will share with you is that I feel like I've been completely blessed with my introduction into real estate. Genuinely, the support that I received from the early morning calls with George, yourself, Tom, Max, the rest of the group, that gave me what is otherwise could potentially be a very lonely career, a tremendous family, and an enormous support system that I will always be grateful for. Yeah.
Oh, Paul, one second. Time out. So let me ask you this. There's many people on this call. You've been here now for November will be 1 year, correct? 2 years. 2 years.
No, 2 years. Yeah. No, so, this January. January 2 years. Yeah. So I'm about 19 months into the.
All right. Pardon me 1 second. So you've been here 19 months. Other people have been on this call just as much as 19 months, and they've only done 4 transactions.
Okay.
So they have the same family. They have the same input. They have the same everything. So what's the difference? How can someone do 4 and someone do 42?
Yes. How does someone do 42 and another person do 150? It's really all about what it is that you want. It's completely about whatever it is that you need to do to achieve whatever it is you need to achieve. I remember once I spoke to a very successful man who was doing the same thing as I was, and I was not as successful. And he very quickly said to me, it's all about your pocket, Christian. It's not about my pocket, it's about your pocket. That's in terms of money. But what that did say to me was that, I have to create my own goals, my own focus, my own set of circumstances, and I have to achieve what I personally need to achieve. For one person, it might be 4 transactions a year. For another person, it might be 150. So, but that is, I think for me, I just wanted to get one transaction done. That was my goal. And I just kept going till I got that one transaction. I listened to you guys every morning. I mean, I wish I could tell you every person's door I knocked on, they said, oh, I want to list with you. Every person I called said, oh yeah, I want to list my house with you. Every phone call I took says, hey, Christian, I need you to help me buy a house. But that's not how it works. But what I focused on was when something did work. So some people look at it and say, knocking on doors doesn't work. 99% of the time, perhaps, but I focused on the 1% of the time that it did because I had nothing else to do. I could go home and complain, or I could go knock on doors. So I went and knocked on doors because not doing anything is guaranteed failure. So I went out and I knocked on doors and I got listings. I made phone calls. I tried to listen to what Tom Martin had to say about cold calling. I did it for about an hour and a half. I got myself a listing appointment. I went in and I got a listing. So that was fantastic. So, it was in the doing. I mean, I guarantee you that 99% of the phone calls I made, I didn't get a listing on, but I focused on the one that I did, and I continued focusing on that. So, like the open houses, I did the first open house on February 14th. It was Valentine's weekend.
A real luxury house, right? A real big $1 million.
Oh, it was magnificent. It was a frame home in a low-income community, and it hadn't sold for over 30 days. That's why I picked it. And anyway, I got 24 leads out of it. And
how much was it? How much was that? How much was the house?
The house was $315,000.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a 4-bedroom frame home. And you could feed the chickens there and everything. It was great fun. But the 24 leads that I got out of it, I mean, one of them ended up being my client, and we closed on a home. Challenging transaction, 75 days to close, various extensions, credit score took a dive to 530, all the rest of it. But we closed. And yeah, I think I made like $15,000 out of that transaction. So for one day's work, $15,000, that's my focus. I'm not going to focus on the 23 other leads that didn't work out for me,
Christian, how long did it take you? Because you had said something that you said, went through it all. If you remember, so you lost how many deals before your first successful one?
4. I actually asked my transaction coordinator. I said, "Do transactions always cancel like this?" And she was very polite. She said to me, "Oh well, Christian, it does happen." Now I know that 100% cancellation rate is not normal.
What nickname did they give you? What nickname?
They called me the Cancel King. My friends called me the Cancel King. So from January until May, I didn't get a single closing, but the 4 I did get under contract all canceled on me. One at inspection.
5 months, you didn't get a closing.
No.
And you did, and you kept going though.
Well, I had no choice, and of course I did, because I thought, I mean, the way I saw it, I was doing very well because I got from nothing to having got 4 under contract. Even though they canceled, but I still got 4 under contract. My first contract took me 4 hours to type up because I was doing it watching a video online. So I had to pause and go back and pause and go back. So
let me ask you a question. That when you were writing that contract, you had an assigned mentor. That mentor was busy that weekend, couldn't help you.
I mean, I wouldn't say couldn't help me. Help me, but yeah. it was. I mean,
But you didn't let that stop you. You just dug in. You said, "I'll figure this out." Took you how many hours to write your first contract?
4 hours.
And 4 hours. And you didn't get discouraged. You didn't quit. You didn't say the damn EXP, the damn mentor, the damn this, the damn that, and damn. You just took those circumstances and you created a new set of circumstances, which taught you. How long does it take you to do a contract now?
About 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you create circumstances out of here, a mentor wouldn't help you that was supposed to be being paid to help you.
Well,
but
in some respects, Fred, my mentor did me a tremendous favor by not helping me, you know. So going through, I said to myself, okay, screw it. Look, I need to learn as much as I possibly can from mentors, lenders, title companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I can only learn myself, Christian, because I know myself quite well. I learn by doing. I learn by experiencing, and I mean, you can use the word failing if you want. I mean, you know, that's where I gain. But it's practice. It's like a muscle. It's like, you know, you keep doing it until eventually it becomes so easy and natural, and I don't have to think about it anymore. When I do a contract, I mean, I've since become a mentor, and it's been given me tremendous joy to work with other people and see them succeed and do well. And, you know, I love being part of that and helping and supporting these people. And it's I mean, it's filled me with so much.
And here you feel that because of such a wonderful support group, that's a big cause of it. And it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but yet other people could come in and it doesn't affect them. It doesn't happen. Here you have 4 deals not working. You have a mentor that's not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, paid to do necessarily. And yet, and that's circumstantial, right? That's circumstances. So again, this is the point of all those quotes we just talked about. It's not the circumstances, it's what you did with them. So you created a new set of circumstances, and you just said your mentor did you a big favor.
Well, that's absolutely true. And you know what? The mentor was incredibly knowledgeable. And the mentor, but the mentor has, look, nobody else is put on this earth for my success. No one.
You know, Brent Gove says the first rule of success in this business, and I'm so glad you said that. He just said this yesterday. Again, he reminded us. He says, no one's going to come and rescue you. No one's going to come and rescue you, number one. And number two, some of us for some reason, and it's about 90% of us, won't take action until we're desperate. Won't take action until you're desperate. But not that you were necessarily desperate, but you were desperate because someone wasn't help you. So you got desperate and said, I'm going to figure out this contract. Now you do them in 5 minutes.
Fred, I have to sell homes to support my family. I mean, that's
it's desperate.
I have to. You know, if I don't, then I have. So the way I look at it is that I say to myself, Christian, you have an $8 an hour job. This is I'm not preaching anything here, but I'm just sharing from my mind. I say I have an $8 an hour job, because when I do hear people complain, leads don't work, working with buyers doesn't work, knocking on doors doesn't work. When I hear these things, I think to myself, well, there's someone not focusing on anything that does work. You know, they're just focusing on the things that don't work. And I often say to myself, you know what? I've done a hell of a lot more for a heck of a lot less in terms of reward, money, and everything. A heck of a lot more for a lot less than what I've been achieving in this industry. So for me to drive around, I mean, look, if I was doing less than 8 showings a day, it was not where I wanted to be. If I'm doing 18 showings a day, we're good. If I'm doing 10 or 12, we're still good. But if it's less than 8, I'm worried. I need more. And people say, oh, I don't want to drive around with unqualified buyers. I'm not a tour guide. And I completely get it. And one day in my career, I might reach that stage. But I was not at that stage, and I still am not at that stage today. Today, I'm at the stage where I need to be out there working. I will tell you, I have gotten listings from showing property because someone came out of the door and saw me there and got her husband to call me and said, my wife said, I have to list my place with you. I have my 2 best clients right now that I'm working with were both referred to me by, one was the buyer, the other one was the seller of the other side of the transaction that I represented. And it's because of attitude, because I always make myself available. I help everybody because for selfish reasons, Fred, it gives me pleasure.
Right.
Makes me feel good.
Right.
Being kind.
That's the attitude. That's the attitude. Yeah, the kindness you
mentioned. Feel like I'm of some value to somebody, which gives me my own sense of value. It's phenomenal.
And then the one you were telling me the story, the real low price deal you did, and they invited you somewhere, and you went. And, most people wouldn't have went, and then you went, and you got what, $1 million deal out of it.
Well, to a little over 2. But here's the thing. I worked with this lady, Angela, who obviously was working with lots of other realtors that, because she had friends that had bought places down here. She was down from New York. Her friend referred her to her realtor, another realtor, and another realtor. And then she worked with me. Now, Angela she wanted to buy cash, fantastic cash buyer. But her max budget was $100,000. Now, you know the market down here as well as I do. That, gets you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But anyway, so out we went. For 6 months, I showed her real estate. Now, I partnered with other agents and stuff. I could have passed her on to other agents. I got her under contract on one place. She decided to cancel it on a $100,000 deal, Fred. But I continued because I will never give up on anybody, right? So 6 months we worked together. Finally found a place, got her under contract, bish, bash, bosh, all done. Well, last Wednesday was her birthday, and her best friend invited me to her house to celebrate her birthday. Her best friend lives in a $1 million-something apartment down here on the beach.
Did you know that it was $1 million apartment on the beach?
I knew where she lived. I knew it was the Mayfair. Yeah, I did know that. And so I went down and I said, and it was just me, this woman, and her family. And that was it. There was like 6 people there. And I was like, what an honor it was to be there. Thank you very much. Anyway, so the woman who invited me, who was the friend of my client, she pulled me to the side and she said, Christian, I don't like talking about money in front of my friends. I said, I understand that. Her husband died of in January because he got the COVID vaccination and he had a bad reaction to that. So she went through tragedy. But she needs me to help her invest her money into some real estate. And I said, well, I'll do everything that I possibly can. What are you looking for? And then she said she's looking for a house, but it must have a dock and she wants to be able to rent it out to boaters. And I was like, well, a dock comes with a premium. She says, oh, I know that. I said, I just want to start with maybe $2.5 million. Start with that, and then maybe we'll get some more properties. Out of a $100,000 deal that I did a few months ago.
Yeah.
And she's not going to go anywhere else because she knows that I'm committed. I follow through. And I never give up.
Christian, when we first started, because I did your onboarding, we met immediately because my nephew, who's not as active, he's in mortgage more than he is real estate, is the one who brought you to me. And I talk about a plan a lot, about a life plan, about a 3-year business plan. Did you do that plan?
Yes.
Guys, I'm going to put the link in here. It's really interesting. Go look at the registry, how many people have done that 3-year business plan. If you've done that 3-year business plan, I just put a link in the chat. I want you to register and say, I done it. And I've had that up 4 weeks now. Not one person has done the 3-year business plan. And yet I
did the 1-year one, Fred.
Yeah. I do 1 year myself now. Yeah, that's what I say. This is matter of fact, the one that's posted there is my 1990 plan that I did for a group of people that were only 90 at the point. By the time I got everyone working on this plan, we became 180 people. And we did 22% of all real estate sold in the Boca Raton, Delray Beach area. Many of those were the luxury because we had a Southern Beach franchise. And it made a lot of people a lot of money. And it's a 3-year, very purposeful business plan. It's called SMOST, how to get the most out of your life. S standing for situation. You've got to be honest. You've got to analyze yourself. I just redid mine again 3 months ago. It was crisis that made me focus again. I only do them a year at a time now. So that's number one. So you did start with a plan. Guys, I invite you to do that plan. Please, I don't care if you do it halfway is better than doing it no way. If you do 25% of it, I've made commitments to all of you. Whoever does that 3-year plan, you have access to my calendar because I want to help you change your life, not just make money. Number 2, I have a question for you. What's been your greatest success? since you started?
Surviving the first year in real estate. 87% of people do not. So I had as a goal, I wanted to be one of the 13%. So I did it. And that was absolutely awesome. It was a dream of mine to be able to become a real estate professional. And I'm realizing that dream.
So wait a minute, that was not just a thought. That was an attitude, you see.
Okay.
And so therefore the you know, we can say the universe helped you manifest it, but it's all goes together, the energy, because we're nothing but energy, right? And somebody once said, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. By the way, who said that?
I can testify to that, Fred.
Who said that? Who said that? Put it in the
Aptitude.
chat. Hey, put it in the chat. Whoever said that quote, if you know, I'm going to just really shout out to you. It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that always determines your altitude. So you had the attitude, I want to truly be a real estate professional. And bingo, that was more in your heart and head getting connected, and you did it. You did it. And by the way, guys, I'm just going to say this. Not only is he a professional, I had a daughter-in-law, ex-daughter-in-law, unfortunately, but she came to me for some help. She came to me for some help a little bit personally, as well as to try to find some properties. I was very, very busy. I wanted her to just start her search first, just to get a feel for the market. I gave her access to some MLS stuff. A week later, I get a call from Christian. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing with your daughter-in-law out here looking on their own? Why would you? I said, Christian, hold on a second, buddy. I said, I just, you know, I want her to get used to the market. He said, I'm not going to let that happen. He took her under his wing, very, very small budget, $200,000. Guys, Christian Rockwell says, I'm going to work her. I will find her a place. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be a tough one. Not only that, the financing and everything, by the time when I contributed, and then Christian called me, said, hey, we're short. I'm contributing my commission to this deal after working with her for a month and a half.
It was a bit more than that, but that's okay.
Too much. How many?
No, it was amazing. I love it.
Bring tears to my eyes, my friend. Every time I think about it, he forfeited his entire commission.
When I think about some of
attitude,
individual achievements in real estate, I mean, when in January, which I think is arguably one of the most challenging times to buy a home in probably the nation's history. I helped a VA family. We're talking 4 children, no money, buy a single family home. That was something that made me feel really good, very, very special. To be able to do that, to have the opportunities to do that that's just a bonus, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
but that, again, see, it's attitude of giving. And you didn't give to get, you just give, and that's an attitude, folks. By the way, Vincento, thank you very much. Zig Ziglar, you're correct. He said that. It's your attitude. And so the reason Christian is flying high, his altitude's high, and his attitude is so positive, and he's full of kindness, is because that's what we were created to do. And he just keeps tapping that. You got to change your attitude. That link not only is it through your business plan, but it's all my PDFs of every bit of personal development that I've studied all my life, that I've just given to everyone for the last 2.5 years. And that will take you and change your attitude. Attitudinalhealinginternational.org. Look it up, the 12 principles of attitudinal healing. Many of us on this call need our attitude healed, as I need mine healed every 30 minutes. I promise you, but I have the toolbox to do it. And Christian has the toolbox to do it. Next question, Christian. What was your greatest disappointment?
Not having enough time for my kids. That was tough. I think I called you even on that one. I usually try and resolve my own challenges before I go to the phone. And if I can't, then I go to the phone. And I often will call someone like you and say, look, what do I do here? You know, because I know that there's a way, I just need to find it. And I, you know, not being able to spend time with my 7-year-old son, it was painful. Not being able to spend time with my daughter and my wife was hard. So I said, okay, well, I need to make a sacrifice here. So at the end of June, I decided to, well, I really began at the beginning of June, but it took a month or so to sort of wind things down, where I wasn't working with as many buyers, if any, or as many sellers, if any, so that I could have some time with them over the summer. And that was very important to me. That's more important to me than making icon status or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
that is a bit, yeah,
I mean,
just
I could have continued, but then missing out on my kids is
No.
really not an option if
no.
I can avoid it.
Yeah, but again, that got you to dig deeper, right? And then now you're figuring it out, and now you've hired that virtual assistant. That when you came to me, I said you got to get an assistant, right? And now
Yes.
and then I'm going to get somebody else. I've got somebody else to help you. So you reached out there. There's again, remember off the heart chart, the R stands in heart. If you want to have our heart, you got to learn how to call resources, and you got to have resources. So it's about. And by the way, Bill Bliss, thank you for that comment. That's a great comment, because if you remember, the law of give to get is not the way you first hear it. Give to get means that you always follow that law. You give to get, not to get anything back, but to get a greater capacity. Christian just said it's like working your muscle. When you give, you're working the muscle to get a greater capacity to be able to give more. A lot of us say, oh, if anything else takes place in my life, I can't handle anymore. Well, what do you mean? You know, that's just the way you've been dealing with it. It's not anything else. Bring it on. The more I get, give, the greater my capacity is to get, right? I get a greater capacity to be able to give more and more and more. So that's the law there. Let me ask you this question. If you had to go back from day one to the starting line and knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? What would you have done differently?
I don't know. My mind never goes back, Fred. So I can't.
I'm making it go back.
That's a very hard.
I know. You already told me when I was talking to you at one point.
Maybe I did.
Well, you said I would have conquered my KV core, my database.
Oh,
first.
yeah. So okay. But here's the thing. Here's the reality of it. That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Is I am focusing on my KV core so that I can move forward. The reason why I didn't do that at the beginning was for a few reasons. One was I had no one to put in my KV core. Number two, I hadn't experienced what my business would look like to be able to implement what systems I wanted to apply. So the other day, if you want to talk about an example of attitude, mindset, and creating your own set of circumstances, this is a fantastic example. The other morning, I had a showing at 9:30. I hopped in the car at 9 o'clock, went to start the car, wouldn't start. Shoot. Okay. So I get out of the car, take out the battery, run down, get another battery, come back, put it in the car, do the showing. And I'd reached out to Paul Saperstein, who is amazing. And I said to Paul a few days earlier that I wanted to ask him a couple of questions. Well, he called me that day and he said, hey, Christian, I've got a listing in Lake Worth. Do you want to come down and meet me? I met with him. We had lunch and he gave me, a flood of information, which I'm now working on applying. So that day that started with the battery not working ended up being an amazingly enriching and rewarding day. Now, I know people who go to start their car, the battery won't work, and that's it, they're done. They're not going, that's it. I'm done with today, it's shit, right? But the other reason I do it is also for the benefit of the people around me. Because if I'm going to be showing 8 properties today, I don't want to show Fred real estate while I'm down in the dumps. I want to see Fred smile and laugh and have a good time. We might not talk about real estate, we'll look at some, but we're going to connect on a personal level, and I want to make it fun for myself, because if I have to go through this, I'm going to do it having a good time. I'm not going to go through this being miserable all freaking day. That does not interest me at all. So that's why I do it for the benefit of others, but I also do it predominantly for the benefit of myself. Because if I have to go out and show 8 properties or go and knock on somebody's door, and there are probably people in here that have come along and knocked on doors with me. I don't know who's on the call this morning. I have no clue. But they've said, I want to see you knock on doors. So when I knock on doors, I have fun with the people that open the door. I don't talk about real estate or anything like that. I have just fun with them. And I think that just makes me, I make a fool out of myself. I'm very good at that. And I enjoy it. And for other people to laugh at my expense, or for me to I don't know, just be silly is great. And that's not hard work. And if, you know, there's a very serious side to me as well when needs be. But I tell you what I discovered, and I didn't realize this for years and years until very recently, that when I've had challenges, and I wish I could tell you that every transaction I've done was a piece of cake. It was so easy. But the reality is that I've had to fight. I've had to fight for escrow. I've had to battle some attorneys. I've had to do all sorts of things which are quite challenging. But I found that my strength and my ability to be effective at that came from a place of kindness to the person that I was serving. So
Yep.
That's how I can answer that question.
Well, you know what? Again, the battery issue is really, you know, you can battery issue, whatever issue. My dog's sick, my this, that, blah, blah. You know, I've heard it all in 45 years. I had people. We used to have a thing called 4 times. Someone didn't show up. Well, you don't understand, Fred. Or when I sit down and help people with goals. Well, I've been out of the business for 8 months because I was caring for an ailing parent. So you shut your whole life down. Oh, okay, let's talk about that. Was it that, you know, but anyway, so these circumstances, life is full of circumstances. Mm-hmm. But you know, you just keep moving, and it's your attitude to get you there. And you know, you said something interesting for everyone on the call. I hear a lot of, well, I don't have a sphere of influence. Christian came from another country, folks, and relocated to the United States. He didn't have that big old sphere of influence. It was all getting out there with that attitude he's been talking about. One other thing, and you mentioned with the KV Core, you're just starting to do that. So you did all the 42 deals, your first deal, even without your KV Core, you just making it happen. Let me ask you this. How good were you with social media?
Terrible.
How good are you now?
Terrible. And when I have a listing or something like that, I'll message it over to my wife, and she will make a little post for me and whack it on social media.
And she's doing a horrible job, by the way. Don't tell her I said that.
Okay, I won't.
but yeah, my only point is saying, Chris, the reason I said that is we all are waiting. Well, I'll go to social media first. Oh, well, I got to get to my KV Core first. Oh, I got to do this first. Well, before I order my open house signs, I got to get my headshot first. Oh, before I get my headshot first, I got to do this first. You know, and we have all these reasons. But the point I want to make out of all this is a contact sport. This is a contact business. It's almost like running for a political office, knocking on doors, making your calls, getting back up when you've had all your falls. And you've just hit all those. You know, you first of all, you said it one time I was talking to you, first thing you do, you get up, you get ready so you can you're ready, right? Every day. So anyway, I want to make sure I have a lot of time for questions, Christian. I love you, my friend. Thank you so much for you know who you are. I am because you are. You know, you just energize me. You give to me more than I give to you. I promise you. And thank you for everything you do and everything you are, my friend. I just appreciate you so much. So with that, what I want to do, definitely raise your hand. I think we'd have a lot of questions. It's
Krista.
Krista.
Look at Krista. Oh, she's amazing.
Hi, how are you? So
good,
I just good. So I just wanted to say, you know, when we went to Tony Robbins last week at Build, he said everything is about energy. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, I just want to be around you, Christian. You know, I know, right? So the other day when we met at the office, it was just you were there, I was there, and it's just your energy just is so contagious. And I think that's why people are attracted to you. That's your light. and I love it. And I want you to sell me a house, that's because I just want to be around you. So I commend you for just putting in the work and not having any excuses. And you're a rock star.
Oh, Krista, thank you so much.
No problem.
Uh,
I say it from the bottom of my
I
heart.
mean,
You're a rock
you
star.
know, and if that comes from Krista Kohler, ladies and gentlemen, that means a ton. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, now there is a social media queen there, folks. If you're not following Krista, I just love her stuff. I just love it. I can't wait. I have her pinned to the top. I just can't wait to see her stuff, So anyway, but again, folks, I don't care who you are, what your background is, Laz was talking about rentals earlier. It doesn't matter. Don't put any conditions on yourself, and in all circumstances you could do anything you want. Someone not showing up to help you with a contract, so you create a new set of circumstances with your attitude. Anybody else? Any questions in the chat? By the way, please go to that link. I'm going to put it in again. We have all this information in there in that 3-year business plan. And cut it down to a 1-year business plan. And I'm offering you my calendar. If you do that plan and you want me to meet with you once, if you're not in my group directly, it doesn't matter. I will meet with you and help you, because folks, living life by default is tough. I mean, it's ugly, ugly, ugly. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. You quit, you start something new. You quit, you start something new. Stop living life by default. Live it by design. You were the movie writer. You're in cahoots with God himself. We were sent here to be creative. We're creators, we're co-creators, but you can't do it without a plan. You can't do it without a plan. So please take advantage of that link. Go ahead.
I wanted to say something. It's interesting. The amount of work, money, effort we put into actually getting a client, and then our real work actually begins once we get that client under contract. That's where I really. So sometimes I go to myself, Jesus Christ, why do I put so much effort into getting all these clients when it's so damned hard to get it through? Once they're under contract and get this thing to close and deal with all those challenges and be, the support system to the client and all the other stuff that I have to do. And then I think, I want to quit this business. Every single time I want to quit this business. There was a period there where every week, there was one day a week that I was going to quit. Every week. That's it, I'm done. But then, you got to shift your focus and realize all the things that you do love about it, all the things that are so rewarding.
I'm glad you brought that up. One of the most important people in my life, Charlie Tremendous Jones. Look him up on YouTube, an old timer. He's long deceased. But Charlie Jones, if you look him up on YouTube and look up, I want to quit. Charlie Tremendous Jones, I want to quit. When you see him, he said when he was in the insurance industry, he was a real big wig in the insurance industry. He said, what you just said is really interesting. He says, I did want to do this. There's another reason I should quit. And I saw this, and there's another reason I should quit. I tried to get some help with something, and they wouldn't help me. That was another reason I wanted to quit. And so he tells a whole funny story. And it's really interesting. You said that last night. Just now. Last night, I thought, as I started looking back and reviewing my day, I always review my day at night and going, oh, wow. What am I going to try and do tomorrow? But I'm going to wake up fresh, and I'll start fresh. It's amazing how that works for me. It's very powerful, and it's so different in the morning when I come up with that mindset. But last night I goes, you know what? I started looking at my to-do list. I started looking at all the things I'm working out with my marketing people, and I went, I really should quit. I don't need to do this. I've got this resource. I got this, and I know where I want to go in Tennessee, blah, blah, blah. And I actually said last night, I says, I'm going to quit and only focus on this one thing. But I've got so many people that I've got so many good things going with. But I just said that last night. I said, man, I probably ought to quit everything, go up there and relocate next to where I want to be. And and only focus on my team. That's it, and nothing else. All this other things I'm doing for the agents, doing for the team, doing for this, doing for that. And I actually said that last. And I chuckled. I said, and Charlie Tremendous Jones' image of him on the stage going, and he would grab people out of the audience. So you would have quit too, don't you? And he'd throw him in the chair. I mean, he's crazy. You got to see him on YouTube. Charlie Tremendous Jones, I want to quit. I'm glad you brought that up. That's about every half hour, right?
And
Hey guys, I've been trying to quit for 18 years. Seriously.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Because you
exactly.
even said, Fred, I don't know why I didn't come to you earlier, but you were in it, man. You were
Right.
you
I'm
were
like,
done.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done. And here I am. I have 5 clients under contract. I mean, it's just that's the life of a realtor. You just have to get yourself up and give yourself some grace sometimes and say it's okay, and then keep going.
And if you would have saw Krista, I think it was 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I said to you
before build, you told me to go to build. I wasn't gonna go.
I said, Krista, why didn't you come to me soon? She'd come walking. It'd be like if I was a doctor. Like she waited until she was totally infected. I said, why did you wait so long to come and see me? And then you see it about 2 days later on the post on social media. I just got this deal. I got that deal. Attitudinal healing, folks. The 12 principles of attitudinal healing. I'm going to post the link again. If you don't post this stuff on your wall, I'd be embarrassed to have any of you in my apartment, in my condo. If you would see my bathroom walls with this crazy stuff I have posted up in the charts and my drawings and stuff, you go, this guy must be a maniac. No, I'm not a maniac. I just know that's my toolbox, because I don't like having those thoughts for more than 5 minutes of the discouragement and of why things are wrong and what's wrong with me. And, I have the things up, what's right with me, what's right with life. I'm co-creating, I'm cooperation with the source, with the creator, divine intelligence, divine integrity. So that's what this is all about. This is what this is all about. Any other questions? We got Christian. Come on now. I'm surprised. I thought you were going to have some specific questions for him. Wow, we gave him so much, Christian, and or they're just taking it all in. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Christian, what does your day look like? Sorry, what does your day look like, Christian?
Well, every day looks completely different. Let me open up my notes.
And share
okay,
screen,
so here's what happened. So I took a little bit of time off, and I just recently, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, started sort of ramping up again like I did at the beginning. So this weekend I have 2 open houses. So today I have to prepare for those open houses. Actually, before that, I've got to be on a morning call with Fred. I'm not going to forget that. Then, so then this afternoon from 4 until 6, I have 3 showings. And then tomorrow I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 showings. So this afternoon, I'm going to print out the documentation that I need to take with me, do some research on each one of those 7 properties before I show it to my client, so that we know what the HOA regulations are, and we know, how old the roof is and all that malarkey. So that takes me a couple of hours this afternoon. That's how my day looks like today. So, and I have to take a trip down to an HOA to deliver an application for someone who's in New York.
Yeah. What are you going to do in your spare time? I just saw. Go ahead.
Somebody once said, didn't they? Real estate is not a career; it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. That's correct. And the nice and the beautiful thing about it, that epiphany hit me when I was a 23-year-old kid. I remember what hit you one time when you said, I really only thing I want is to be a true professional. I was ready to quit. I was only been in the business a few months. I was going to get this big listing. And that morning I was putting that sign in my car, and I realized they had given me the opportunity. It was a pretty high-end house back then, $750,000. It was a chief of the fire department in the city of Baltimore, had his house up for sale as a force owner, and I got the listing away from everybody else, as a 23-year-old kid. And I never forget, put that sign in a car, how proud I felt. And I went, I am going to do this. I got to figure this out. I like this feeling that they entrusted me. So it's all attitude. There's a question,
there's a couple of things here, Fred, I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
One is Thais has said.
Yeah, I'm just going to address that. Let me address that first, Christian. First of all, Thaisa, let me say this. That word icebreaker, just get that out of your head, because if you think that mindset, and that's just a belief system, that there's ice there to break, you won't break it. There is no ice. There's another human being on the other side. You're a human being. And so just go up and be real, be authentic, when you go up to a door, you got to be on an ATV. You got to be authentic. You got to be transparent, and you got to be vulnerable. So Christian, take it from there.
Yeah, there's two things, what Thaisa said and what Star Lewis said. They're both really important and both things I should talk about. So Star mentioned, I want to be an honest realtor as well. Okay. And then Thaisa said, what do you really talk about instead of real estate? Okay. So here's the thing. One rule that I have in business that I've had for a little while, but not forever, but it's a rule that it's probably the first thing anybody that meets me, mentee, partner, or anything, always tell the truth. Always tell the truth. And people say, oh, well, that's easy. Not always, actually. Sometimes it's hard to tell somebody the truth. But in the long term, it will always benefit you. Always. Regardless how you might have to sever a relationship because you told the truth. It has an immediate consequence, but in the long term, it's going to serve you. So, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Always tell the truth. So I lead with always telling people the truth, no matter what the question is. Then, and it has served me well when it comes to any conflict or battle, along with kindness and telling the truth. So there is no option for me, Star, but to be an honest realtor. There is no other type of realtor to me. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. If somebody else is dishonest, then that's on them. And that's their problem, and certainly not mine. I'm only going to gain from that. The other thing about what I say when I knock on doors, what is my purpose? You always need to know, Thaisa, what your purpose is before you do anything. Okay, so if you're going to, now, why do I water the garden? Because I want it to go green. If I stop watering the garden, it stops going green. What am I going to do? Complain because my garden's not green? No, I'm going to water the garden so as it goes green. Now, knock on a door. Why am I knocking on the door? I always give myself a reason. And it's always because in a day or two, I'm going to have an open house. And this open house, I'm expecting, and George says this, none of this comes from me, by the way. This I learned from these morning calls. There's going to be more traffic than usual. Now, what I always say is, here's my information in case you want someone to shout at or something like that. But that's the truth. If you want to get upset with somebody because someone blocks your driveway, here you go. I will tell you right now, there was one occasion I did not do any door knocking because it was an hour away from my house, this listing, and I really did not want to list another place up there if I could help it. I'd rather stay more local if I can. So I didn't do the door knocking. The day of the open house, we did the open house. The next door neighbor was so pissed off with me because he's got kids that play in the street and play basketball that he didn't know anything about this open house. He was furious. I felt awful because I always go door knocking except for this one occasion. So now I do it whether the people in the street like it or not, because I genuinely want them to know that if someone blocks their driveway, drives on their grass, looks shady, scares them, anything like that, they've got somebody to call that is responsible for all that malarkey. And that's my purpose for knocking on the door, and it serves me well. Now, you can have your own reason. I'm just new to the neighborhood. I wanted to give you a muffin or whatever it is you're doing. Whatever, but as long as you have a genuine, legitimate purpose to knock on the door, that's great. I probably wouldn't recommend you knock on people's doors to say, hey, do you want to sell your house because I'm a great realtor? That might not work. But you know, coming from as our mentors teach us constantly, coming from a place of contribution, you know, giving something of value.
Great. I love the idea of the purpose. That's the number one thing. And then Mona said, Christian, what are your main sources of leads? You kind of addressed that, the door knocking at first, right? And
well,
the open house.
I will address everything I've ever done has been my main source of leads.
Which is
going to a birthday party, taking my kids to birthday parties, knocking on doors, open houses. I've bought some leads because I'm a firm believer in reinvesting in my business. You know, so short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. So if I get a transaction and I make money from that transaction, and I guarantee you it's always more money that I make than what I'm actually worth. So I get this money, I take a decent chunk of it, I put it back into my business, whether that is towards marketing or print work or buying leads or whatever it is. Because you know what, it's like people say, oh, that lead source doesn't work, that lead source doesn't work. They all work. But if you're focusing on the percentage that doesn't work, you know, then you might as well do something else for a living.
But your main source of leads were the open houses and knocking on doors, because if you took all your business from what came from leads you purchased versus what you created,
yeah, more from what I created.
Always.
Because there's nothing beats meeting the person in person. Now, and I'll say this, my goal, like if I get a phone call, whether it's from a referral or a lead that I purchased, if it's just on the phone, my goal is not to build a relationship with them on the phone. My goal is to get in front of them as soon as possible, because that's where I excel. And people say, oh, but your accent and all that. No, trust me. It's got nothing. I got to get in front of people. And so I want to keep the phone call short, efficient, effective, to the point, and get in front of them as quickly as I possibly can.
And that role, Christian, by the way, that's what got me to be the leading agent out of 250 agents as a 23-year-old kid. Took a listing a week, 52, 53 listings. I led the entire company in listings secured, all because of that one comment you just made. Is that my mentor, Steve Brown, taught me, Fred, if you ever try to sell anything on that phone and I hear you, I'm going to hit you in the head with the phone. You can only sell one thing on the telephone, and that's an appointment. Your job is to get in front of people and nothing else. Don't give them.
I mean, I hear people on the phone. I get phone calls from realtors, so I keep them on just to see what they're going to say, right? They call out, this is such and such from Coldwell Banker, just wondering whether you might be thinking about selling your house. I look at the phone, I'm like, really? This is working for you? Okay. So I stay on the phone, and then they start, oh, where do you live? Oh, how many children do you have? Oh, how many? I'm like, seriously? You're asking
good point.
Pertinent information and trying to build a relationship over the phone? Get in front of people.
So before any other questions, let's see, have a quick moment. And I have a quick AHA moment to share. Go ahead.
An aha moment, Uncle Fred.
Hello.
So, you know, I've been in the business a really long time, since 2005. However, you know,
Angel Shockey.
I'm previously a DeFalco.
Yeah, you're Angel Shock. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Christian.
Oh my goodness! What an honor. Okay.
Well, what you're really saying is it's about time you show up on these calls. That's what you're really saying, Christian. Yeah, thank you.
No, I mean, it's Angel. I've done nothing but heard wonderful things about Angel for about 1.5 years now. So. From
me.
Christian.
About time you show up, Angel. Go ahead.
Oh, shush. So I got something important to say. So I've been in the business a long time, you know, since 2005. However, the majority of my focus has not been on general real estate. I had ran real estate offices. I've done transaction coordinating. I worked for multiple builders. You know, now I focus on agent support. And you said something a moment ago that kind of gave me an aha moment as to why general real estate hasn't been my focus. And you said real estate is not a career, it's a lifestyle. And that's exactly what I'm missing. For 5 to 6 years, I played a sport called roller derby. And that was very much a lifestyle, not a hobby. And I can't tell you how many family functions I missed because I had to make a practice. And I made it a priority, and I was very good. And now here we are, my real estate business. I never made it a lifestyle. So now it's just been a career of things I got to do instead of leaning into it, making it a lifestyle, and learning like if you just incorporate it in your everyday life, it'll eventually work. And not just that, but the door knocking. One of the builders I worked for, I would have to knock on the doors to say, hey, just to let you know, some work is going to happen at the house next. Sorry, I had a call coming in. It's unbelievable to realize I've been doing all of these motions for so many years, and realizing all I had to do is just shift it to my real estate business. And who knows, I could be better than all of you.
Angel, you know what? That's not only a ha for you, but I'm so glad you emphasize it, because that is a very powerful thing. And I kind of let that brush over until you just said that. Now, publicly, you should say you've been telling me that I'm obsessed, but I really see it's my lifestyle. That's the difference.
Well, listen, Uncle Fred, let's not take away the fact that you're obsessed, all right? There's definitely
I'm obsessed too, Angel. I'm obsessed as well. I am addicted. I'm addicted to the emotional journey of each relationship that I form in the business. It is addictive. And when I don't have it, I crave it.
Well, you know what, Christian, what's interesting, I'm glad you said that, because it's really not the addiction. A lot of people think it's a deal addiction or it's this or that. And I mean, I don't care if you want to go to Donald Trump and his art of the deal, all that stuff. What it is, again, you're getting a greater capacity. So every time you do something, that's why I decided to do all the designations. That's why I decided I've got to become an auctioneer. I've got to do commercial. I've got to do industrial. I started a marina company. We had a thing called Marina Lady. I wanted to do it all only because every time I did it, so people think that I was obsessed, but it really was, I was true to who I was, a creator, right? And now I'm doing it with a totally different flair with a team and stuff. That's why we do the lifestyle. I'm so glad you brought that up, Angel, because out of the whole call, to be really candid, that is probably one of the most powerful messages. And when you can make it a part of your lifestyle and balance it, like Christian just said, had to take a lot of time off. He was out of balance. I've been doing that all my life. And so that's what's so beautiful about it. It's not what you, Jim Rohn says that too. It's not what you achieve, it's what you become that is so rewarding. And that's why a lot of people don't understand. Brent Cove and Gene Fredericks on a call yesterday with 390 of us from Paris, France, taking their time. And I said, and this is a negative thought. This is what happens when you have scarcity mentality, right? Or you come from a poverty mentality. And it sat in a little bit. And I went, if I was making $2.5 million a month, am I still going to be on these calls? And that's poverty mentality. And they followed up right with that. The reason we do it is for one reason. What do you think they said? Because we love you, because we love it. We love what's going on. We love watching people. The reason the word build, because they're watching people build families, build legacies, build health, build careers, all this stuff. So I love that. I'm so glad you brought that up, Angel. Go ahead, Christian.
Fred, there's one little addition to that, which I think in my case came with maturity. And it goes back to, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. But when I did my business plan, the number one thing on my business plan was I wanted to build a reputation. So money will come and go. Money we will spend. Money is fickle. But a reputation, now it takes a lifetime to build one and it can be lost in an instant. We all know that. But my goal was to build a reputation, which is why I wanted to do as many transactions as I possibly could, why I wanted to serve as many people as I possibly could. This is a career for those who have a servant's heart.
You just hit the nail on it.
I need to build that reputation for myself, not for everybody else, but I need to build it for myself so that I can knock on that door with confidence, so that I can go to that birthday party with confidence, so that I can show my face at my kid's school with confidence, walk around my neighborhood with my dog with confidence, because I have a reputation that walks with me. If I don't have that, if I just do the deal because I want to make money and boom, people are going to know that about me very quickly. And then I will feel shame. And I don't want to do that ever in my life.
There you go, my friend. There you go. You know, you said, here's what he said. Someone just put in the chat about, let me just read this. Christian and I were writing back and forth at one point. He says, the key, kindness, stamina, and focus, mental, spiritual, physical, emotional. Every day is a new opportunity to grow, to change, and to flourish. Never give up. It gets harder before it gets easier. I have also discovered that with great kindness comes tremendous strength. Leading with the truth allows me to win every battle and every negotiation. One simple rule, always tell the truth. This has served me well in real estate. The harder it gets, the greater the result. Went through it all. And I'm going to put this in the chat right now so you can have this in your chat if you're copying this. Christian, I want to thank you, my friend, from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank you because, you know, again, I am because you are. And I'm telling you, you give me a whole lot more than I've ever given you. And I just appreciate you more than you know. So with that, I'm going to allow one more question. Oh, Chris, go ahead. Or Daryl, I'm sorry, Daryl. I didn't see your hand. I'm sorry. My bad.
It's actually the both of us, Fred, but that's okay.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hi.
Why does he always keep you in hiding? You never show up. He never lets you speak. He's such a dominant.
I love it, man.
That's not true. So I have a few things. First, Fred, I want to thank you because I had been listening in on calls before I was an agent. I just in April completed my first year here. I think May was my onboarding. And you said something way back before I was an agent, Fred, about getting, after you got your license, you dove right into classes, and something you said today reminded me of this. So we're in the process of doing the GRI classes right now because of the dual credit that you mentioned one time. That's all I needed to hear it. It stuck with me. So thank you, Fred. And let's see, Christian, I listened in way before I was an agent, and I watched your journey, and I have been so inspired by just all of the things that you've done and how far that you have come. Now, you mentioned something about having a couple of open houses this weekend, and I just want to clarify before I ask the question. When you said you had a couple of open houses, you did mean, or did you not mean, multiple locations?
Yeah, 2 different houses.
Okay, so this is something that I'm getting to the point of, and I need to know how exactly that works. Can you please explain how you do that?
Well, we figure it out. So I'm fortunate enough to be, when I became a mentor with EXP, I also was fortunate to have some mentees. The main reason I did that was because I had a little bit more work than I could personally handle. So I thought, well, I tried having a few people help me work my leads before, like last November. And it really didn't work out. They'd been in real estate for too long. Their mindset was in a different place to mine. So I was like, okay. So I found that with people who were slightly newer to real estate, not because they have that additional desire. I met some people who were newer to real estate that didn't, or their mindset, but I was able to share my journey more readily because people who'd been doing it for a while viewed me with more skepticism. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to try and polish a turd. It is what it is. So then I met some wonderful people who have who've been a tremendous source of inspiration for me, and that I'm working with and who I love with all my heart. And so some of them are newer to real estate. And so I'm able to say, okay, so we're doing, I've got 2 open houses this weekend, or I also proactively go out there and see if anyone needs people for an open house so that they have an opportunity to host an open house and go through the process. But now I happen to have 2 listings that I need open houses, and I can't be at 2 places at the same time. So I've got, a couple of people doing one, a couple of people doing the other one, and I'm going to go between the 2. I'm going to go in the morning, set up the flags, the goodie bags, and all that sort of stuff. And heck, who knows? I might even do a video this time and post it on social media. That's go to that festival zone.
Yes, yes.
Chris, by the way, it would pay you and Daryl to get in a car, visit Christian at one of his open houses. I'm not kidding you. Everybody on this call, I don't care where you live, fly in, watch him at one of his open houses. By the way, take our open house training, number 1. That's where Christian got this from. First of all, start with your plan. Thank you, Christian, that you have the link in there, guys. Start with your plan. Then you do the open houses, take the open house training, and but come down and watch Christian in an open house. It's the most fun. His gift bags are second to none. People just laugh with him. If he catches someone running out the door without a gift bag, he tracks them down in the street, folks. I've been there. And by the way, don't volunteer for one of his houses if you get your feelings hurt easy. He will tell you off. If he sees you texting on your phone, he will take your phone. If he sees you sitting down and just, what the hell are you doing sitting down? You got to act like you're ready. I mean, he's like a general on the open house. I love him. Matter of fact, I think I'm almost ready to pay a professional video service to take a whole training video of your open house. It's phenomenal. Max is the open house king, but Christian is kind of right there next to Max on the throne. Let me tell you, when it comes to open houses.
Max is awesome, and that's where we learned for open houses. But I guess I was under the impression that Christian was literally doing back-to-back open houses, like maybe some in the morning, some in the afternoon. I didn't realize that the key there is bringing other people.
Yeah.
So
hey, by the way,
thank you.
Well,
you're welcome.
I mean,
you're
look,
welcome.
when I did my first open houses, I was there in the morning, from morning till night, and by myself, because who the hell gave a crap about me? So I did. So I was there. But now I have something of value to share to other people. And, so I'm going to share it if it's going to benefit them and benefit their business in any small way, so that's, so, I mean, yes, look, I mean, a year ago, I didn't have 2 listings, open houses, both on the same weekend, blah, 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 blah. That would have been a dream for me a year ago, but I have that now. So, I mean,
Christian, post in the chat if you can, the address, open house. But guys, just follow Christian on Facebook. Follow him on Instagram. Are you on Instagram? Maybe not.
I think I am. Yes.
I'm sure you're going to post your open house addresses there, right? And
yes.
Then also, and then what you do is in your MLS, if you're in the same MLS, just look up Christian Rockwell and he'll have them posted in MLS as well. But anyway, one more question? No, we're kind of out of time, but anybody else something urgent of Christian wise here? And by the way, I'm so glad, Chris, you brought up GRI and CRS. I can't tell you the people that I meet. I just had one Monday or Tuesday. It said yesterday. I can't, but I got to get my continuing ed done. I get a continuing ed before September the 30th. I said, why are you taking the continuing ed? Well, it was too late for them to do the GRI series now. And why leaders don't talk about this stuff. And by the way, the average CRS, I'm going to keep saying this, the average agent in America earns $42,000 or $44,000 a year. The average CRS, $127,000 a year. Is there any question you should take the CRS, folks? The Certified Residential Specialist. You got to start with the GRI. No, there isn't any question why you take it. And if you're already saying, well, Fred, I'm already doing $20 million a year, Krista, you're going to do $40 million a year with your CRS.
I should do that. Yes.
Yeah. No, you will do it, right? No, I'm kidding. That's my buddy. Okay, cool. Thank you all so much. That was phenomenal, Christian. Anybody? Nothing else? Last minute. Okay.
Lizette asked me a personal question about where did I get VA? Okay, so here's something for maybe everyone should hear this. I don't think I've ever helped a buyer that hasn't worked with 5 or 7 realtors before they worked with me. So I don't really recall where I got the VA, probably at an open house. And I do remember that they said they were already working with another realtor, but then they ended up working with me. And it's because of my attitude being different to a lot of other realtors' attitude.
Is that the VA? Is that the VA she meant? Or virtual assistant she's talking about?
Oh, virtual assistant. Maybe.
I mean, virtual assistant for me.
Oh, thank you, Lizette. Thank you. Okay, because I had no idea really what you meant.
I'm looking for a Spanish-speaking VA. I need a.
Oh, I got mine from Fred. So Fred's the man.
Google's the man, really. Yeah. In my documents, I think I have it posted in there. If not, there's a number of different services, Lizette. I refer out one service, but sometimes they don't work. So I kind of hesitant. I'd rather have you go on Google and really, there's tons of them. Don't pay any more than $6 an hour. Don't fall for one of these US. You're not ready for it yet. There are some companies I'm ready to pay $12 an hour to a company that's a US company that manages them for you, because I'm ready to go up another level in social media because they oversee them. But I have 2. That is the one's been with me for 3.5 years. She's now at $7.50 an hour, but don't pay any more than $6 an hour. That's the going rate. And just go on Google and search. The Philippines is the best. Now, John, I wish John Wheel, is John Wheeling on by chance? I wish John was on. He actually found someone that he really likes. I forget what country they're in, but they're all over. Just type in virtual assistants. But the one thing I find in the Philippines, I mean, my assistant corrects my English, which is not hard. Don't know what aha is. No.
And should they be experienced, or I mean, like somebody like me, I'm busy, and then I'm like, oh, some of them want me to train them, but it's just, I'm wondering if I should get somebody that's already experienced, or
well, it's up to you. You know whatever you're looking for. What you want to do is just what your expectations are. When I started with mine, she wasn't experienced with EXP, she wasn't experienced with KV Core or anything. I just handed them the training course. My one I just hired, I just gave her the KV Core login. I gave her all the training. She's my assistant in the world as well. I gave her access to the world. So she's learned KV Core in a week and a half. So wow. I'm only paying her $6 an hour to learn it. And she knows it backwards and forwards. By the way, if you're in my direct group, you're going to be having access to her, because she's going to make sure she's going and doing a quality check of everybody in my group, of your social media, your workplace, because none of us are using this multi-billion-dollar system the way we should be using it. Christian, go ahead.
I'm going to say one thing. I think since this is about mindset, I would caution anyone to get a VA with the intention to be able to work less. If you're going to get a VA, you're getting a VA because your intention is to work more. Okay? There is no shortcut so that you can sit around the pool drinking Mai Tais. You get a VA because you are going to grow your business. You're
to that where you can grow
more. You are going to do more. If your intention is just to take the workload off my plate so that I can do nothing, forget it. That ain't going to work.
Yep. And by the way, you have to do your research. With my VA, a lot of my creative social media posts and stuff, it's from I'm watching other people. So when I get on with my marketing meetings with my VA, I'm the one giving her the vision that I want to see, and then she creates the videos for me. So that's a good point, Chris. I'm glad you said that. And I've got a VA now, a second one, and now soon to get a third one, is because I want to get to where I'm I will never go. I had that offer by someone who had a lot of money and wanted to take me to Tahiti and live there the rest of my life. I had no interest. So, but I love that point. Get a VA because you want to, and I guess, Christian, let me follow up. You don't want to do the $8 an hour task that they could be doing for you. This $6 an hour task they could be doing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, look, at the end of the day, everything I do is because I want to grow.
Yeah.
If it's not serving me to grow, if it's serving me so that I can have more time to get a suntan, forget it.
Yep.
That is not how it works.
Yep.
And it won't work if that's, you got to work it because you want to grow. All you're trying to do is add a few more hours to your day.
Yep. Yep.
So that you can work more hours in that day.
And sometimes I think for maybe, and I'm just speaking out for like single moms and caregivers out there. I'm a caregiver. And sometimes you want to sit down and do homework with your children. You want to be able to cook dinner for them. I mean, like some of the simple things.
Guaranteed. But here's the thing, Lizette. That has to be in your plan.
Time blocked.
It comes along.
Yeah, folks, listen, it's one thing to say I want to cook dinner for my children. Okay. It's one thing to say that, and I want to have family, which is honorable, and it should be time block. But don't set that in your time block. And then at 10, an hour and a half later, now you're sitting in front of the TV, in front of Fox News, CNN News, or whatever you watch, or The Walking Dead. Whoever watches The Walking Dead, I'm going to come public with this. You are dead. I'm just telling you. Because what a way to waste a life, man. That's crazy. So I see people go, I want to spend time with my family, and they're sitting around playing video games. If you're playing video games, there's something wrong. That's not going to get you to where you want to go. So time block your family, have a beautiful dinner, then time block some calls from 7:45 to 8:45, or plan your next day so you can make this your lifestyle. So anyway, wow, what a great meeting. Still 54 people on, 9:53. I know we all have to wrap it up. I think there is another call at 10, George, probably. I don't know. But anyway, fantastic. Thank you. We have another, George is putting in about it, the GPS meeting.
I need to, Fred, I need to jump in and take over for a second if you
can. Yeah, good. No, take it over.
All right. So this is for everybody here on the call right now. GPS Summit has transitioned to a level up conference. We're going to try to do this on a quarterly basis. This is up here in Central Florida, same location, same everything. The link to it is right there. It is going out to the entire state of Florida. 9,400 agents will have this in their inbox on Friday. We are sending it to our partners first. There is a 7-day, you can return it and get a full refund 7 days prior to the event. I would encourage you to get a ticket. Maybe get a ticket for a friend if you're in the Central Florida area bringing somebody, or even if you're down south and you're bringing somebody up or flying in from a different part. Bring somebody with you. The first day is 100% conversations on real estate, on what we can do to improve it, actionable items. It is for everybody. Not one time will EXP be mentioned. This is not a recruiting event. It's really important to mention that. This is an event that is focused on their real estate business. Day 2, which first day goes from 9:30 to 5, and then a very heavily hosted happy hour after that. Day 2 is from 9:30 to 1. That will have a lot more focus on building additional streams of income, on using KV Core at a very high level. Ricky Carruth is already coming to speak. If you all know who he is, he will be one of our speakers, as well as Tommy Tron, who has been through 3 market shifts and is absolutely brilliant. Tracy Gagnon will be there. David Gagnon will be there. Of course, all the Central Florida people will be there. From Veronica Figueroa touching on marketing, Mitch Ryback. There are some real business movement opportunities here. The link's right there. Buy your ticket, get 2 more, put them in your name. You can change them later. You can get a refund a week prior to. So make sure you get a refund if you need to beforehand. But this is an investment in a friendship, investment in a business partner. You need to be here. It will be a whole lot of fun and really good info. Hope to see you guys.
Krista Kohler, where's Krista Kohler?
I'm here.
She's here because I invited her to the GPS Summit, folks. If I had not invited her, she may not be here today.
That's
correct,
right.
Krista?
Yeah. This is about your business, guys. It's number one priority.
And then the other thing, George, you left the H off, but I got your back. You see, you left the H off, so it wasn't a hot link, but I took care of you. Now, George, and I'm really hurt now, but I'll get over it in 5 seconds. I'll go to my toolbox and fix it. You forgot to mention the most important part of the GPS this year.
What's that?
It's my birthday.
Oh, well, that's why we're having it. I'm sorry, we're having this on the 29th. It's Fred's birthday.
Thank you.
We're going to do a GoFundMe page. We're looking to raise at least 1,345 pennies. Okay, we're going to spend all of that on him, not for a full lunch. That'll only be a half a lunch there, but we'll get him something.
He's shy to admit, but he's turning 83 this year. Good for you, Uncle Fred. You look great.
No way. Not 83. No way. No way. Oh, just for heads up for
60,
everybody, I'm working on.
Hey, I'm entering my new deck. My this last chapter, 69. It's going to be the most phenomenal year of my entire journey so far. I guarantee you, I am so pumped. I'm so stoked. My 1 year plan is so unbelievable, but not the plan, but everything that you've all given to me in the last 2.5 years to dig out was hidden in there. From every angle you can imagine. And I have give you all a lot of credit for pulling that out on me. Thank you so much. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Awesome.
Take it, George.
I'm going to finish with what I always finish with. It's 9:58, and this is about time. We're going to kick you all off. Go out there and tell somebody you love them. Tell them they're important, that they matter. Let them know that you actually care. Now, folks, that's the secret to database, but it's also the secret to a happy marriage, happy relationship, happy everything. Tell somebody that they're important and actually care about them. You'll change a life. You may save one while you do so. And remember, for every single one of you on the call, thank you for investing in yourself. Thank you for investing in the people around you. Christian, as always, holy crap, dude, you are amazing. In fact, Christian, you and I need to talk. I'd like to invite you up to Orlando and have you speak at the Level Up on a new agent. If you're interested, it's 29th and 30th. We could talk about that later. You don't have to commit to it at this point, but I'd love to have you. I think that your story is compelling. We've got a panel of successful new agents that are, and I say that with great honor and respect to you, might be a way to go. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day. We're ending this in just a second. Bye all. Hi, Angel.